Hi, this is the long-awaited new Volvo XC90. Do Audi, BMW and Mercedes have something to be worried about? Well, let's find out.
First generation Volvo XC90 was on the market for 12 years, and that's still a year less than Saab 9.5. But then Swedish design is timeless, so there's no reason to spit out new models every 6 to 8 years, like some German or Japanese car makers. No wonder Volvo packed enough new tech inside the XC90 to make it last a bit longer than your next iPhone. In the middle of the crisp and clean center console is a 12.3-inch touch display. If you like your tablets, the XC90 will make you feel at home, not just because of the comfy seats, but also because of the way the infotainment system works. I do like my gadgets and I do appreciate this sort of stuff, but we'll get to that in a moment. Let me just say that you can control everything on this screen, and the system works with all leading mobile operating systems. Interior, depending on the spec, can accommodate 4, 5 or 7 persons. You heard it right, 4. There is something called XC90 Excellence, and it's your first-class compartment on the road. Even with the third row of seats in place, you can still get about 300 liters of boot space. In the 5-seat configuration, you get about 700 liters. A bit less if you go for the 7-seater, a bit more if you choose a 5-seater model. The third row of seats costs about €1,500. Suspension can be electrically lowered 5 cm to make loading easier, or raised 4 cm to go over small obstacles. Standard ride height is about 24 cm. When driving on motorway, suspension is automatically lowered about 1 cm. The XC90 can be specified with one of 2 styling packs, which make the car look more urban or more rugged. The third row of seats can accommodate 2 persons up to 170 centimeters tall. Taller passengers will have to squeeze, but then you usually put kids in the back. In the second row, there are 3 individually sliding seats, plenty of legroom and headroom. Great car for a family. Okay, nice remote, and how do you turn this thing on?
So, what's the new Volvo XC90 from behind the wheel? As you can see, I'm going along a twisty road, and it handles surprisingly well for this big a car. It feels very compact, even though it's a big car. It's got a big road presence, but it feels nimble. This is a 2-liter diesel D5, 225 horsepower. As you can probably hear, it is a bit rough. The brakes are quite good. And wow, it corners like a BMW. So the steering is sufficiently light, but not very light. It's relatively precise. I can feel what the car is doing. I know what the front wheels are doing, and that's something I haven't felt in a Volvo for quite a long time. Okay, so now there is some body roll on tighter bends, but I suppose I can switch the car into dynamic mode. This car comes with optional pneumatic suspension. Is it in dynamic? Yes, it is. Now I can feel the steering becoming a lot stiffer, and probably the body roll should also be less obtrusive. Oh boy. Oh boy, it's a good car. Volvo has done it, and Volvo has done a really good job with the dynamics, with the driving dynamics. I'm very positively surprised. Okay, let's go back to comfort, because this is probably what you're going to use every day. You can also switch it in eco, but today it's rather warm, so probably air conditioning won't work too well. Now, dynamics are fine. What about the controls? This is all a bit overwhelming. I've got digital speedo, digital rev counter. In the middle I've got sat nav, and probably something else, but I haven't figured out how to change the settings. These two controllers here on the steering wheel, they're a bit confusing. I keep pressing them, something keeps popping up, and I have no clue what's going on here. So let's get rid of that. So for example, I can't see what's my average fuel consumption. I can only see my current fuel consumption for reasons which remain obscure to me. Anyway, there is a active speed limiter, so I can set it to adapt my speed, the speed limit, to the actual speed limit. It reads information from SatNav. This is all a bit confusing because I still don't know how to use it properly. It's somewhat different to what we had in Volvos or what we have in other cars. I suppose they had to reinvent the whole logic of the system. The central display, oh yes, there is a lot going on here. SatNav, media, phone, sound settings, and then I can swipe back and forth and change some more settings. I sort of know what I'm doing, so this is a bit more intuitive than the display, which is called DIM, D-I-M. I don't know what's the acronym for, but anyway, this is called DIM, and this is called God knows what, tablet, let's call it. So the tablet is a bit more legible. What else? Cup holders, 12-volt socket, USB here. By the way, speaking of USB, we tried connecting an iPhone, and the iPhone is charging, but we haven't got to actually playing music from it. So maybe it's streaming over the air, but it's not playing it over the cable. Possibly this is going to be fixed with one of the updates. Volvo is going to release an update every month. Yeah, every month. Up to 500 megabytes you can download over the air. If it's more than that, or you neglected some of the previous updates, then you'll have to download it on your computer, Mac or PC, and then, well, plug it in here somewhere, either through a USB port or through a memory card. Hard to say. I'm sure Volvo will tell me soon enough. So, my first impressions with the Volvo XC90, a good car to drive, but a bit confusing as far as the settings are concerned. So, if you're buying it for the tech, you'll spend a lot of time learning it.
We finally managed to connect the iPhone. It required some digging in the menu, but the Bowers & Wilkins sound system made our patience worthwhile. As with all Volvos, this one comes with enough safety systems to make a separate episode about them, but this is only the first drive. Under the bonnet there's a choice of 2-liter 4-cylinder diesel and petrol engines with power ranging from 190 to 320 horsepower. And there's also a 400 horsepower hybrid. Prices start at 55,000 euros. It's definitely an interesting alternative to BMW X5 and Mercedes-Benz GL. But with the new Audi Q7 entering the market, competition is just getting hotter.
The new Volvo XC90, a beautiful car, but at the same time quite complicated. During the press launch event, Volvo representatives used a comparison of switching from a PC to a Mac, and the new Volvo XC90 is supposed to be your Mac. Once you get to know how to use it, you don't want to go back, or so they say. The thing is, first you have to learn how to use it. So tell me what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and share my video if you can. That's gonna be nice. New reviews every Friday. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.